Hello everybody and welcome to the first video on this channel. And it's a pretty big one. Gonna be doing an hour and a half endurance race around Spa-Francorchamps in the McLaren 720S GT3 Evo. I have high hopes starting from the back, but yeah, it gets crazy. So enjoy. And so here we're just starting the race, just trying to get heat into the tires and the brakes also. The start though, we do get the better of the Porsche ahead, and that's the only overtake we make. Coming up, finishing the first part of Spa, the first sector. And so now pretty much coming through Radion and up into Le Combs here, we go for a pretty risky overtake that paid off. And because it's so early in the race, you are going to want to try and pull your way through the field, because the start of the race is the only time when the field's all tightly compacted together, all the cars are close, and overtakes are going, they're happening. And this was what I was trying to do. I was just trying to get as much overtakes off as I could, because I was starting dead last, and we've moved up quite a bit already. We try go for it on the Maserati here, and we actually get it done. And the fact that I actually even done this, because on my wheel, I nearly lost it on the wheel. And surprisingly, I didn't lose it here. And we just go for it on the KTM. I think we just maybe scraped a little. But nonetheless, we got overtake done. And again, we were now starting to maybe see the top 10 cars ahead. So we were. And this here, I do go extremely wide. And it allowed for the KTM to retake that position. We were just trying to go for it on the Porsche. And it didn't work out the way I wanted it to. But because we got a good exit up into the here, it allowed us to set up perfectly for a dive bomb into the bus stop chicane. And actually doing this, I didn't actually mean to do this, but I accidentally got two cars into the one corner. And I'm not complaining, because it was a good overtake. But nonetheless, we move up. And so now, obviously, because we got the move done on the KTM and the Porsche actually comes back at me. But now, coming up through Rouge and Radion, we go so wide. But it allowed us to get the move done on the KTM. Obviously, we exceeded the track limits there. But the Mercedes looks to have a go on the car ahead, the Maserati, and actually gets it done. But the Maserati comes back and retakes that position. And so this was now just a waiting game for us on where to pounce. And obviously it's still very early, so positions are going, and the Porsche actually comes right back at us, and I go round the outside of the Maserati. I didn't even mean to do that. I just went round the outside. But in doing so, we actually go off the track, so that's another track limit warning, obviously. And I feel like, and again here, we almost get a track limit warning. I actually think we do get a track limit warning. But that overtake, I didn't even mean to do. It just happened. And now pretty much just throughout the whole of this lap here, I'm just following this Mercedes, and I didn't want to try anything risky this early into the race. I mean, I already know I've already done stuff, but those were very, very close, and they could have been very, very race. No, it could have ruined the race. But through here, this is the one thing about the McLaren. Through here, it gains so much speed. It felt like I was driving a rocket ship. So it did. But coming up into the bus stop chicane here, we actually pretty much pinpoint the brake absolutely perfectly, which actually brought me very, very close to this Mercedes, and because we get a pretty okay exit, but it wasn't good enough to try and line anything up, to try and And coming up in the turn 1 here, we go very, very deep. So we do. And this meant that the Mercedes got away. He got a big gap on me, so he did. But coming up in through a Rouge here, I absolutely keep my foot to the floor through there. Again, probably another track limits. Yeah, it is another track limits. But this actually brought me very, very close to this battle ahead. And because of the exit we got out of a Rouge onto the Camel Straight, it brought me close to this battle between this Mercedes and Porsche. The Mercedes is the car ahead. But as you can see here, we come down into this dip within the track, and we go pretty deep. And because we go deep, I tried maybe seeing if I could have maybe made a move around the outside of the Porsche, but it wasn't to be, so it wasn't. And so we're just following the Porsche, and the Porsche is just following this Mercedes. But down into this pretty fast flowing bit that you can take flat out in Formula 1, but obviously this isn't. This is a Assetto Corsa Competizione. But because we got a really, really good exit out of there, we actually managed to overtake the Porsche, and the Porsche actually tries to maybe make a move, but doesn't actually get it succeeded. So it's brought us pretty close to the Mercedes, and now this is pretty much, and the Mercedes actually has a little moment here that almost lines us up to get that position. We were able to make the move on the Mercedes. I don't know where the clip has went. But we did make the move on the Mercedes coming into the bus stop chicane. And now, coming into turn 1, I don't know if that's on me, but he turns in and he hits me, and I actually got damage from it. But the Maserati was able to stay ahead, even when I tried overtaking him the lap prior. But we actually got a really nice exit out of there, and because we got a nice exit, we were able to just fly by that Maserati and move up to yet another position and move up into 14th position. But the Maserati did get us back in the Le Combs, and just again we go for it, and we got the job done. We got the move, and we got back up into 14th, which was important. But we just we run very, very wide there, and which allows the Maserati to just go back by and retake 14th. So we're now back down into 15th. So it was all just about following the Maserati, and we didn't have to follow the Maserati for long. But if I wanted to finish within the top 10, I had to get past him. And so we were able to do that. We were able to just fly by him. And 13th wasn't too... It was far ahead, so it meant we had to push like crazy. And so as we caught up to 13th, and we put in a blistering lap time, we spun out. We spin out. And this was when the race went downhill. Because the lap after this... And here it is now. I spin out, but just in the opposite direction. Now, I can't tell you how frustrated I was with myself, because I had done so well the lap before I spun, I had done well to catch up to 13th. And even through here, and this is where I felt so quick, even through here, I nearly lost it, and that could have ended the race, but it didn't. And I felt we had got lucky. And because of what's happened in this race, the pit stops were going to only be the way where we actually were going to be able to make up positions. And with these pit stops, I actually made 5 positions. So we did. And with one of these overtakes being a Porsche deciding to park on the pit lane exit. So we had to squeeze by. I actually don't know how I squeezed past, but I did anyway. So I did so, yep, and as I said, pit stops were going to be the only way where we made positions. And so pretty much now, on to the second stint. And coming up into the bus stop chicane, and actually into the bus stop chicane, I make a big mistake. And if we count, this is the third spin of the race. And it's probably one of the worst places to actually spin out. Because we spin out when I'm turning into the bus stop chicane. And arguably, I think this is what ruined the race. But coming up to complete lap 21 of this hour-and-a-half endurance race, I'm just going to let this play. Because this is arguably... This ruined the race, but I was able to recover it back to the pits. And when I say... This had to be the stint. This had to be an insane last 22-minute stint. Or else this race would have gone bad. Because all the other drivers were coming in to change the drive... So this was an amazing chance for me. And actually, when I'm looking back at this, and this was a good opportunity for me to put myself within the top 10. But I'm just going to let you guys watch this because, honestly, I actually closed my game when this happened. So I spun for the 4th time in this race. But that's racing. I thought I could have been that guy. But with that being said, it was pretty fun to do. But yeah, so if you guys did like this type of video, please, subscribe maybe. I'm gonna maybe try and start making more content. And I will listen to any content idea you guys have to give. So if you did like this, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. And I shall catch you within the next video.